Which passers should you start in your Week 4 lineups, and which one should be left on the bench? That's what we're breaking down with SI senior fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano. And Fabs, you have quite the list in your article, which people can read on si.com/fantasy. But for this video, let's focus on 4 of these quarterbacks. Let's start with your starts, Matthew Stafford and Taylor HEINICKE.
Yeah, Stafford's been great in 3 games, 9 touchdown passes so far. This should be a high-scoring game against the Cardinals. SI Sportsbook has the over-under at 54. And remember, Arizona gave up over 25 fantasy points to Kirk Cousins earlier this season. So expect a shootout. Start Matthew Stafford. And then Taylor, hit him with the HEINICKE. I get it. He's not the sexiest name in fantasy football, but he's averaging over 20 fantasy points in his 2 starts for the Washington football team. He's got Atlanta this week. They've allowed the 2nd most fantasy points to quarterbacks and the 3rd most rushing yards. So HEINICKE is a nice option in 2 QB leagues.
Hit him with the Hein. Love it. All right, let's move over to the quarterbacks that you don't like. You're benching Big Ben and Daniel Jones.
You know, I like Daniel Jones last week. His receivers got banged up. He didn't put up a great stat line. And this week he's got the Saints. Their defense has been very, very good. In fact, they've been very tough against quarterbacks, allowing just 3 scoring strikes and the 2nd fewest fantasy points. And Jones could be without a couple of his top wide receivers. And then Big Ben, I mean, have you watched him, Bill? I mean, I hate to say it. He looks a bit washed. The Steelers' offense, in terms of their wide receivers, are all banged up right now. Deontay Johnson's banged up. Juju Smith-Schuster is banged up. They got a tough road game at Lambeau Field against the Packers. So even in 2 QB leagues, Big Ben is probably a fade for me unless you're desperate and have no one else.
Yeah, Steelers, they need to get things going there in Pittsburgh. We have plenty more start and sit analysis all up on Sports Illustrated. Go check it out, si.com/fantasy.